hand over to
Thanks, Alison.
We're ready to kick off.
We are. Go for it.
Thanks, everyone. Great to be here again to talk about speed. It's a wonderful topic. So the objective of today is to go through a lot of the feedback that we received since the council workshop. So we want this to be a free and open discussion. So please, we put things on, and it is about discussing and being really comfortable with what we put forward in the final plan. And then I think at the end we'll just cover through what the intended next steps are, given that we were hoping to go into the October council meeting, but that's we've been pushed out of that one. So just keen to talk through what the plan is for there. So I'll pass over to Shing Hao, who's our expert.
Yeah, thank you. So we made some last minute change this morning. So if you downloaded copy earlier, so you will see the order of slides and also the information is a little bit different now. Yep, and just move on to the first section of the road we want to talk about. So Cardrona Valley Road, this is for our conversation, whether we want to consider change the existing 50 km/h to 60k. So given the very limited development happening for that section, the road environment is quite similar to the rural settlements that we have introduced in this proposal, and because we want to understand what's the background to have this 50k a couple of years ago, and also whether in your view this should be increased and to probably have a consistent approach on the rural settlement we have.
Is this, sorry, I'm just trying to understand, where is it? It's through.
So as you go through Cardrona.
Yeah, so north of this section is the Cardrona Valley Township, where we have the restaurants, cafes, hotels, and we have this short section of 50.
Oh, the 50 out of
Just
it.
heading towards Summit.
Yeah.
Oh, heading towards Queenstown.
Yeah.
That's
So it stays 40 around the bend.
Yeah, so I think when people was traveling, especially from the 100k area to this 50k, is a big change, and it's probably a little bit difficult for people to slow down without very significant road environment change. That's a difficulty for this section, I think.
I think it's a really good idea. When you look at stuff like this, do you get any information around what speeds people are actually driving in?
Unfortunately, this section we didn't find any traffic count data available.
Okay.
But I did check on the recorded crash history and etc. So, but I imagine the operating speed is probably going to be higher than the current speed limit.
Yeah, exactly. Very supportive.
yeah, 50 to 60. Nice.
Yeah, cool. Right, thank you. And we move on to the next one. So this is Golf Course Road in Wanaka. We have quite interesting feedback from different people internally, externally, and the current proposal is we have 40k at the intersections with Cardrona Valley Road and the other end, just to ensure the 40 speedless signs location. But
Sorry.
I'm not sure. That's all right.
I'm just going to exit out. Sorry about that.
That's all good. And in the conversation we want to talk about is the middle section for the existing 70k, whether we consider to reduce it or remain it.
This is a really interesting one, because once again, it's all very well picking out small bits, but if you look at how it connects in with the other roads on the other side, and we've got a that's going, I think it's coming up where we talk about the Ballantyne Road end. We were asking for it to be 50 instead of 40 from the state highway, which is already 50. So it's just a matter of getting things. At the moment, when you go from Cardrona to North Lake, there's 8 speed limit changes, and you got a question. Yeah. So The 70 on golf course, ideally, if you wanted to do a good consistent one, you'd have the consistent speed limit all the way from, I say at Valentine Road all the way out to the 100-kilometre on Cadrona Valley Road. And, I don't think it should be 40, but whether it be 60 all the way through. But you won't, I don't think that would get over the line because for some reason that would be consistent. And in the environment there, you wouldn't want to go any less than 60. So at the moment, you have to leave it at 70, I guess, if you're going to stick with your 40s at each end of it. I don't understand why you moved the 40 so far up Golf Course Road from the Cadrona Valley Road in. That's quite a way through.
Yeah, so last meeting we touched on that section is because the crossing demand at the intersection, because we built the shared path now and also for the retirement.
Okay, fair enough. Understood.
Yep.
Yeah, understood.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's the other thing you've got to keep in mind on that road. We spent a lot of money putting in a shared path and sealing it, so you couldn't justify then saying, oh, we've got to reduce the speed limit.
So on the right-hand side of the land development, currently is zoned for urban growth, so which means there will be more residential houses got built on one side of the road, and of course on the left-hand side that's the golf course road.
There won't be many more emphasis on the right, I can assure you, based on my understanding of the urban development and the zoning there, but never mind. There might be more traffic going in and out, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think the points are well made. On the northern aspect of it, I mean, there's not going to be anyone going 70 k's at that section anyway, because they're slowing down for an intersection, nor like on either way that they go. So because it's a fraction of the road, is it just a matter of putting the sign close to there? It just
seems... it's already there. It's already there.
Right, so it's just formalising what's already there. Is that?
Yeah, so the 40k is just formalising what's already been implemented.
Okay.
Because our friend lives down that exact driveway, and the sign is on the corner of their driveway and has been for some time. Yeah.
If police are enforcing this and you're speeding up 50 metres before a speed sign, is there any enforceable way to actually be punitive about it? Like, would you get a fine if you're going into a 70k zone and 50 metres beforehand? I'm just looking at like the logistics of this. Anyway, actually, don't worry, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You wouldn't pass your driving test.
So we did check the operating speed for the 70k section. So operating speed is 60k. So people are traveling slower than the current speed limit. And if we consider this is still an urban zone, so the recommended safe speed limit for urban is usually below 50k. And this is the section we got in between because we got probably no houses on one side and lots of houses on the other side now. And quite happy with you. We can put it on hold for now if we think we're still unsure about it, or we can put it in the public consultation and see what's the public feedback on the whole speed limit.
So can I just clarify, so that what's shown on the picture there now, is that what's proposed or what's the current?
What's basically what's currently there.
Right.
Sorry, the 40k on the southern end, that's the proposed speed limit.
Right.
And 70k is the current speed limit. And the other end of the 40 is actually for the existing speed limit signs.
But the southern end, that does come out into a 40k in our zone then, isn't it?
Yeah, so the 40k changed just at the intersection right now.
Right. Okay.
So as I understand it, we're moving it at the southern end, but it's staying the same at the northern end. Otherwise, it's unchanged.
Right.
Yeah.
But Mr. Chair, I'll still come back to the point at the beginning. I think it's quite difficult doing. I agree with. I don't want to change it anymore based on what we've got here. But ideally, if you looked at the whole network and all the different roads and that coming in, you get a better understanding of. Because I don't know if we're going to talk about the Cadrona Valley. Is it on the Cadrona Valley Road?
Not that end. We will be talking about parts. Not that. We haven't got that end of Cadrona Valley Road and the urban area end. It's not part of the current discussion.
You mean that's from this intersection out to the 70?
That didn't come up at the council workshop.
you've raised it a few
We
times.
put it in the bid in, but yeah. All right, oh,
So for the moment then, are we happy with what's proposed on that picture?
Sorry, still not, can we just clarify? So do you want us to leave it as it is and not put in any changes in the speed management consultation document? Or do you want us to put it in the document to see what the feedbacks comes back as?
Is that to see whether or not there's feedback to reduce the 70?
Yes, to put it from the 70. So the 40s we're really keen on. It's just whether we retain it at 70 or reduce it to the 60.
And given that you've said that people aren't travelling at 70 as a rule.
No, that's not true at all, because I know plenty of people who travel at 70. It's just there will be people who don't drive up to the limitations of the speed limit, which is the point of the speed limit. It's not to go over.
that's a maximum.
That's a maximum, so.
I don't see any need to reduce the 70. I mean, I think it's, look, if you've got to adjust the 40s because of individual locations, I can live with that. I don't see any reason to reduce the 70 to 60. I don't see any safety issue.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Radio, so you don't want to see it in the consultation?
No.
Okay, good with that.
Just guided by the board of council.
Yeah.
So,
Said with experience.
I might have one next one.
Down Sparring Road, at Glenview Bay Campground. Oh, no, yeah.
So, currently this graph shows the current proposed speed limit. So we have 80k for the entire section and was 50 km/h seasonal speed during the summertime for the area at the car park camping ground location. And we look at this area again after the council workshop, and we think maybe this time we can propose a 60 permanent speed limit, considering the road environment is quite similar to the rural settlements we have, and we're going to have a new golf course near the one lane bridge. So. And also considering the traffic volume currently traveling there along the whole year. So we want to change the whole speed limit from 80 to 60k permanent speed limit.
Can I just ask, how would the 50 km/h seasonal speed limit be signposted, or
Yeah,
how is that done?
So it means during the summertime, the contractor will just put 50k signs
Right,
on the road
just
and
place the
That's
then
what
remove,
happens now.
yeah,
Right,
then remove it after summertime. Yeah.
Okay. Right, any local feedback?
So that's currently what happens. We have the 50/80. We're suggesting a permanent 60.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have 80 now. We only
Oh,
have
sorry,
100.
100.
Sorry, the
Right.
current speed
Oh,
limit
okay.
100 was.
What's the evidence to support this?
It's probably just the current development happening along the road, and I unfortunately.
Where's the development?
I don't have the operating speed for this section. From
Development's
memory.
happening in the layout further on, the golf course development in the 100k area, not in the 80, not in this area. So I just don't know, there's no development going on. There's not it's all very well, it might be nice to have, but we should be basing it on some sort of evidence.
So I think it's about the increased all year round traffic, so particularly with the entrance to the bike park, and then with the speed coming into that single lane bridge, just trying to drive some more consistent with that rural speed, but across the whole year rather than just that seasonal summer. I think there's a realisation there's increasing traffic over winter as well.
I think making that stretch 80 with a 50k summer is a reasonable first step. I wouldn't go too much further. Because I think as well, like, as an adjustment for a lot of people in the same respect, and going from 100k to 60k's will evoke quite a lot of, No, I mean, like I say, I'm happy with what's the current proposal, 6.
What's that, 60?
Over 80 with the
80
50.
With the 50 subsidy.
Seasonal 50.
I'm comfortable with the 80. I mean, I would highlight that and the seasonal one, of course, but I did have a call the other day about someone concerned about some of the safety approaches to the one lane bridges, and that they live out that way and were finding it quite dangerous approaching ski traffic at Motatapu and the Fernburn one lane bridges. So while I'm not suggesting a speed limit change. I wonder whether we could improve the signage at those locations too, as a side note.
That's pretty important.
So we're happy to stick with the current proposal, 80 and 50 over summer.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Right, and next one is along Park Street in Queenstown. So in the last workshop, we heard the feedback that we want to extend the current 30k proposed speed limit to include the entire street. The difficulty is if we want to extend the 30k for the entire street, we need to signpost it at each intersection. However, due to the very poor visibility at the intersection, and we're not able to put them in, so we are proposing if we can extend the 30k zone to cover the entire residential streets of Park Street. So the sign will be posted off the State Highway Frankton Road.
I don't see any reason, and this is my personal view, is that no one should be travelling at 50 k's an hour on any of those streets anyway. So,
They'd struggle to, wouldn't they?
yeah,
Well, it's 40, isn't it?
It's currently 40, yeah.
or even 40. So, you know, reducing.
It's the maximum though. Once again, it's, people, it's a maximum and you drive to the conditions. For sometimes and at certain times of day along the front there, what's wrong with doing 40?
But then the thing we've identified with Park Street is that it's a heavily used route for active travel. Because it comes off the end of the Frankton track.
And they're not separate, there's not a separate path.
No, they're on the road, carriageway. So that's where I think it's, well, in my view, that's where it's come from to drive that change.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that it's difficult to solely do it on that road only. It's easier to cover the other streets. And again, I mean, even 30 k's an hour I think is sufficient for those, you know, Adelaide Road, Suburb Street and Ben Crescent and the Terrace.
They're pretty steep streets, aren't they?
Yeah.
Traffic won't move that
I'm
quick.
in support of the 30 because I think it's also that area we get a lot of people moving around slowly looking for car parking.
Yeah.
As you say, at that intersection of the gardens, we've got even is it a tohu site with the bike main trail, that junction?
Yeah.
But yeah, that active travel link along there. I'm just wondering, even those two little dead end streets that are
Yeah, because they are
marked, is
currently
that
not
whole block fairly?
connected to Park Street, and
No.
the speed limit sign we put on Park Street at the northern end is actually not covering that that one cul-de-sac, so we're not including them in this proposal.
Yeah, and those streets also are feeder streets to get to that, you know, what's effectively an active travel route too. So I'm happy with that proposal.
Yeah, same here.
Same.
And this is going out for consultation anyway, isn't it? So
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're not making a decision on the speed limit, just what we're including in the consultation.
Yeah.
And look to Glenorchy Queenstown Road. The previous proposal was 80 kilometer per hour along the whole section, and we received some feedback from the Glenorchy, I think residents group, and saying they want to have some 60 k's and also some extended urban zones, and this is our current draft proposal. So we're proposing having a section of 60k from the 1 mile roundabout to the boat ramp. Is about 270 meters from the boat ramp entrance because of the visibility along the road. Any feedback on this section?
So
And
the main thing for this section is, I guess, there's not really any development along this part of the road, but the Sunshine Bay Road intersection and the driveway into Sunshine Bay itself, into the boat ramp and everything, those are potential.
yeah,
Consider points, aren't they?
so that intersection is under our low cost, low risk for an improvement. So we're redesigning that intersection, and hopefully if we can get the 60 kilometer per hour speed limit across the line, we can design it for like urban type of roundabout and use it as a threshold to get into Queenstown.
So you're looking at a roundabout at the Sunshine Bay.
Oh, we're not promising that we
All right.
definitely will have a roundabout, but that's one of the option we're looking at now, yeah.
The only other sort of points along that section, there's a couple of laybys that people pull into and out of. It can be a bit blind. So, I mean, I think it seems a bit restrictive given there's no housing on either side of that road, but it doesn't seem unreasonable to.
Yeah, and later on, we got some slides on the current operating speed and the traffic impacts. If you've got any question about that two items, we'll come back to that.
So we're comfortable leaving this one in the consultation
Well,
document?
I have a question. Is this a stretch of road we just put, spent a lot of money putting rails down each side, but
Part of it, no, only the very beginning of it.
Not until.
what, and I thought is the 80 on to Glenorchy, I thought it was 100. Has it changed to 80?
Currently it's 100 and we're proposing 60K.
So why have we got 80 there then?
Oh, sorry, 80 was in the previous proposal
For the whole road?
for the whole road, yeah.
We haven't talked about that one yet, have we?
We
No,
talked
no,
about
it
it at the last
was in
workshop.
the last
Oh,
workshop.
that last
Yeah,
week.
sorry.
Ah, right.
So the, well, once again, I just don't know what the evidence is. Okay, you say there's a couple of laybys and I definitely, if they're going to put a new intersection, or everything's got to slow down for the intersection anyway, they're actually great traffic calmers. You can slow the speed limits down there, but I don't understand why you would, if it's 80, if you're green at 80, it should be 80 all the way through. I just don't understand why you're going to, on that stretch, and I think you'll get a bit of kickback from the people in the Sunshine Bay. Are you putting it out for consultation, are you?
Yes,
Yeah.
what would
Well,
you, yeah.
better tell the Sunshine Bay people then.
So, well, yeah, I mean, that intersection is a little bit blind, but if the intersection changes a bit, that may be up to Ultra. Did you say you had feedback from the Glenorchy Residents Association about?
Yeah, I
I
think
think they requested Fernhill and Sunshine Bay wanted 70 on this section, but 60 fits more with the consistency of the
Yeah.
approach in those areas.
Right, so that specifically talked about this intersection, even though it's not Glenorchy, right? Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so, and this is obviously, there's a series of slides on Glenorchy Queenstown Road, isn't there? So,
and just move to the two residential, rural residential area. So we are proposing to change the current 80K for Wilson Bay to 60K and also a new 60K section for Bob's Cove. So both of them are was coming from the previous consultation in 2023. Because of the active road user, the kids in the community all use this section. Yeah. So this is our current proposal. Yeah.
so, because I think we talked at the last workshop about the 80K predominantly along the Glenorchy Road. You also mentioned, I think, at that one about the 60K
Yeah.
zones through the urban, well, what are called urban areas. Yeah. So this is sort of just affirming or confirming that.
Confirming
Intention,
that
yeah.
this is the 60Ks.
But they
And
don't do
yeah,
it
that's
all.
the reason why we have the other 60K.
I mean, I certainly think through Wilson's Bay, there's a lot of people use Wilson's Bay and there's a lot of traffic in and off, on and off that road. Where the 80K an hour sign is on the eastern end, and we've already had a serious bus accident on just there, right, pretty much where that was. So, certainly don't have any problem with any of that. And I don't have with Bob's Cove either. I think the issue will be that it's a long straight road through Bob's Cove and people will think, why do I have to go 60? But
Yeah.
there's
So
more
we
to go
are
than out there.
putting
There's
in
people
the
crossing the road. And
Yeah, so we are putting in
Yeah.
those big threshold signs to tell people you're getting into like a rural residential area.
So, yeah, certainly from a safety point of view, I think it's
Yeah.
I was out of
proposal
Bob's
that's worth
Cove
something like.
the other day and I was astounded at the volume of traffic and users and people parking as well along there because the
Yeah.
Bob's Cove car park itself was full. So the overflow had started to stretch along
And-
there, further reducing visibility
Yeah.
all the way through there.
And
We've just solved that problem with the previous
With no
meeting.
no parking there. Where are they going to park? Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was traveling along the road the other day, and because that's probably the only strip section and along that area, and people overtaking me actually on the
Yeah.
yellow lines.
Yeah.
And move to the Glenorchy end. So this is the feedback from the Glenorchy group resident group as well. So we are introducing a new 60K section when they are approaching to the bridge and passing the kind of new off-road path as well.
Right.
And also we are extending the existing 40K along when getting into the town. Yeah.
And so again, you've said this has come straight, well, as a recommendation from the Glenorchy Residents
Yeah.
Association. Well, it's really good to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that curve after the 60K going downhill over the bridge around that curve is certainly something that,
55 advisory speed.
yeah.
Cool. And
No one else got any objections to what's been proposed so far? And again, it's for consultations.
Yes, exactly.
yeah. And the other side of the Glenorchy Township, we are also extending the 40K, given that there are a couple new houses and subdivisions building in that area. And because of the extent of the 40K, the existing 80 km/h section will be shortened. So we have to extend the 80K as well to meet the minimum requirement of the 80K length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need a certain number of metres of 80K before you can go up to 100.
Minimum of 800 metre.
Right.
80K.
Okay, and then it's open slather from 100 on all the way to the dark reed and
Paradise.
Okay, no objections so far?
No.
Cool.
Good.
And just want to give you some of the crash history along the road to kind of the reason why we also want to introduce the 80 km/h. So over the past 10 years, there's 218 crashes, recorded crashes, and 13 of them are high risk crashes. It result in 15 serious injury.
Right.
And the numbers are showing the number of crashes and the color of the rim over the number is the percentage of non-injury, minor injury and serious injury crash percentage.
Yeah, right.
So we actually have lots of crashes all the way along the roads, especially near the Queenstown end.
Yeah. Seems to be a reasonably good justification for reducing the speed limit to 80 at least, isn't it?
Yeah. And as I said, we did some further analysis on the speed and time impacts. So we look at the TomTom data for the entire year of 2024, and that captured over 130,000 vehicles at the Queenstown end and 24,000 vehicles at the Glenorchy side. And we assessed on what's the current operating speed, the travel time, and also we modeled what's going to be the new operating speed based on the new speed limit proposal, and also what's the time change along the entire section. So, sorry, it's a little bit difficult to rate. So, so that's the two graphs presenting for each direction of the road. So the orange red lines are the current situation. So it shows the current speed limits and also the current mean operating speed. The blue lines are the new proposed speed limit, and also because we dropped the speed limit was going to be the new operating speed. New operating speed along the road. We can say for the operating speed, the two lines are pretty much aligned together, but just because of the 60K proposed new speed limit, so that there is slightly drop on the operating speed for the 60K sections.
So in real terms, it barely makes any difference to how you
So along the
drive
whole
the
road
road.
is actually not making much difference.
No.
Yeah, on operating speed.
1 to 3 minutes in each direction.
Yep. So along probably 45 minutes of trip, there's only 1 to 3 minutes of change.
It's good data.
The cost of, if it's going to be not much difference in the way people are driving it, what's the cost in, because 80k you've got to put up old signs so often, don't you? 100k you don't.
Yeah, for every speed limit change, we will have speed limit signs.
Yeah.
It's a one-off cost. One crash saved that money.
It's so true.
I don't think it's going to save any crashes. Driving to the conditions is a big issue.
Yeah.
But you're driving at 80 or up to 100 or 80.
Well, every car that crashes has a driver at the controls, isn't it?
At the moment.
That's going to change. That'll change.
What do you think is
It's
Debate.
self-driving stuff.
No, that's good information.
So those tables summarize the other feedback we have received from the councillors, and I don't think I need to go through them one by one, but please let us know if you do want to talk about any of the sections.
Yeah, I just want to make a blanket statement. I appreciate how you've presented these and like the way that you've presented them, and also come back with this, gone, here's what we've heard. I think that's really helpful and really shows that it's been considered, so thank you. On the settings for the land transport rule around speed management, it says that you have to consider economic factors.
Yeah.
I'm still uncomfortable with Cemetery Road because it's a main commuter route, and you haven't considered the spot between Domain Road and Longview Drive. That there's next to no entrances into residential, yet it's still 50. People are using that road a lot to go to and from work. I guess the question is that like, in this consultation document, will you highlight economic factors? Will you sort of have the background to prove that these have been considered and show people that?
Yeah, so for every proposed speed limit change, we will conduct cost and benefit statement disclosure. So we're probably not going to provide that much of detailed information for Glenorchy like this one, but we will assess every change.
When you say will, these proposals, have they considered that assessment already? Or is that going to be part of setting the new limits?
It's part of the consultation document. So we had to, we considered them already in our
In the proposal, so yeah, in the consultation document, the rule sets out quite clearly that we have to present all of that information. So that'll be when you click on the map, you'll see the outputs. So there'll be outputs behind there. Most of what our recommendations are not just driven by that cost benefit ratio. We've looked at what we think is best for the network and the feedback that we've had on or RFSs, and there's a whole load of information. So our recommendations do consider that, but actually more driven by the safety outcome.
I guess like in order for it to be more palatable and like, I guess, uphold what its function is, I guess I'm just pushing to the point that it's a big factor that needs to be displayed, that it's been considered, because most people go, why are you doing this? You haven't considered these factors. So I guess it's just highlighting that point that whilst you may have done it, I want to make sure that people see it so that there is that real, background to say that we have done this by the law, because I still struggle to come to terms with some of these, but I know it's a consultation and people will have their own say as well. But yeah, that's, I guess, just like another point more holistically.
So to confirm, you're putting these ones in this chart for additional feedback are going out to consultation, is that? Are they going out for consultation?
The charts,
Actually, the one here, you had it up.
On the additional feedback.
Additional feedback chart in here.
Are they all going out for consultation?
Not all of them. If we say we're going to keep the current speed limit, which means it won't be in our proposal.
Well, that's disappointing. That's why we put it in there, because, okay, Valentine Road, your reasons, noting that the state highway, 84, I see down there you want to reduce that too, but that's state highway, it never got reduced the last go round of blanket changes, the suggestion there is to take the 50 all the way up Valentine Road on a road which we've got spent a lot of money on shared paths east side of it. There's a police station and a fire station, when they come out of there, there's not much traffic out of there. When it comes, they usually have flashy lights on. We've got traffic lights, which are another pedestrian crossing on that road controlling the traffic. We've got a new roundabout about to go in there, and just over the other side of that, we go back to 50. Why? I think they're not explaining it when I'm saying that, we've got to stick to 40 because that ties in with, I'm not sure what. It's an oddball. It sits between two 50s, and looking at the design of that road, the active travel path separate, a couple of entrances, traffic lights and a roundabout, how can you justify sticking with 40?
I did check the operating speed for that one. So it's 32 from memory. So a few things I usually check when I receive those feedbacks. So the operating speed, the crash history, and also what's the current road users. For that section, I do think because we got two quite busy intersections and the 50K.
Sorry, I have to. You're not making sense because if it's 50 is the maximum and they're doing 30, what's the problem? They're driving. Okay, if they were doing 30, why are you making it 30 then? I'm not understanding the logic here because I'm trying to say when you're looking at networks, if you have speed limit changes so often, I drive all the time. I do driving instruction. Everyone's asking, what's the speed limit now? What's the speed limit now? And there's evidence to show that at that 50 down the state highway, we've got problems. Don't think so. And we've got 50, we've got a problem on Valentine Road the other side? I don't think so. Where's the evidence to show that 40K stretch connecting up those two 50Ks is a problem?
I guess that's a question. If we increase the speed limit, will that increase the road risk a lot as well?
So we're trying to keep that 40 consistent. So 40 is the standard.
It's not consistent. You've got 50 each side of it, and we haven't got any evidence to show that's a problem.
On the other side, that's
seriously.
Can I ask a question? Right. That additional feedback chart is so useful. I'm wondering why we can't put those out for consultation, because like if I look at my questions were around the Malikins and the Arrowtown one, I'm in support of them staying where they are because of the accident data and the risks on those intersections. And I feel like if our community saw the feedback, the response and the outcome, they would also go, actually, that's where we have landed with it as well. And I'm wondering if around the Valentine one, if we actually did go to consultation on it, whether the evidence might come back in support of the 50. So I'm like, why can't the consultation document include that additional feedback?
So we could, you mean for context, like we could include it in the document that these were considered and discounted as a recommended proposal, but we can supply all this information as what was discounted to be included.
And my open with all the enforced submissions on each of these roads, which could then be considered.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why we can't?
Well, I understand the review process. Okay, let's explain the review process here. We're going to have a review and we're getting stonewalled.
Can I just cut across? The response is in here as to the staff response. That's what you've got in front of you right now. The team have looked at it, they've given that assessment. I know you disagree with that. There's no point in reading the staff.
I'm not, sorry, I apologise.
The question before you is, do you want to stick? I mean, there's one suggestion of including this in the consultation document, which to me makes sense. We can explain that these were considered and not included for these reasons and write submissions on that. Or you could ask that one be increased, but I don't know on the technical basis of what basis we would support that.
Okay, yeah, and I appreciate that because we're trying to keep it constructive and we're trying to help, and I guess we get quite passionate about it. What's been the reason why it hasn't been considered to uplift to 50 was for the emergency services. If a fire station has its lights on, legally you have to pull over to the side of the road and stop. There is a fire engine on the road out in Luggett, which is a 50K zone. That doesn't have consistency of any logic anywhere else, and I feel like it's, it's not well formed. And again, these aren't, you can tell, sorry. It is hard to be constructive.
But I understand what you're saying, and I'm not sorry, I mean around you. You're talking to people, this is where you've got to bring some wee bit of local knowledge in. It's all very well sitting at a desk and saying these things, but if you're on the ground there and trying to practicality stories, we're just trying to give you some constructive input. And I've got a couple of others here where I can give you some practical, based on the responses, don't actually make sense. So, for example, Outlet Road, Wanaka, too short for standalone speed limit. Aubrey Road is 60. All you're doing is extending the 60. You're not along another stretch of road, which is dead straight, 2 entrances of it, a lot of money spent on a separate pathway. And I can assure you, 80% of that traffic is not travelling at 40k. So I just don't know the reasons for the response to retain it, I don't believe strong enough. Okay, in my personal opinion, I'm basing on a lot of experience and also a lot of feedback from the community. We get more feedback on speed limits, I do, than most about anything else.
So is the way ahead then that we include them in the consultation?
Yes, I'd like to go back to what the consultation rules are. So my view would be that we are putting forward a recommended speed management plan, which includes what we're recommending, and then we could have a section that asks for feedback on the ones that have come up but perhaps haven't been recommended by council. I don't know, we would need to check that we can do that through the consultation rules, but I'm happy to explore that. Would you be comfortable with that?
Absolutely. I mean, if we present it properly, so we're asking for submissions on those that we're proposing to change, and also on ones that we've looked at and decided appropriate not to change. The other option before you is to signal that you want those changes that Councillor Cox is talking about included as we want to change Elton Road to 50, because that's the other option in front of you. And we, it provides some information around that.
So if we were to get feedback on the ones that we've decided not to change through consultation that said overwhelmingly, please change, then that could be addressed.
Yeah, that's the only thing. We just need to check that we can do that. But I would certainly be open to it.
We can. I mean, if we, I think there's some merit in including the ones at the table because it shows that thinking, but then it will invite submissions on there. And then whoever considers it finally can take those submissions into account and make a decision accordingly.
I think it's the only way. It's a good way to go about it.
Yep, go Quinton.
Yeah, look, I'm not opposed to considering some of those. I do think there's some that would be pretty unhelpful to include in there. Like I think the Timsfield Drive one, for instance, would be a complete departure from anything we do in our whole urban area. So, sorry?
If I may clarify on that, I think the only reason that was in there is because when I did like a map, there was an orange thing saying 50. And I don't mean to, I wasn't trying to go, hey, you should make Timsfield 50. That's just what the sign says. So if it's legally 40, it's not showing. And I'm not saying, like, I agree, residential areas should be 40k. I'm just, that's why I'm clarifying why that's there. So it was a bit
I think there's a case to include ones that are open to debate, if you like. And I'm not fixed on the Ballantyne Road or the Outlet Road one. I'm open to considering those. Obviously, we've talked about Golf Course Road, and one conversation where we're talking about where the 40 is going, on the other conversation we're talking about where the 50 starts and finishes. So there's a conflict there we need to resolve around that holistic oversight of it, because the two directions are slightly incompatible at this point. But yeah, I suppose as I said, we don't want to include ones that shouldn't be considered, but those that are, I think we can extend the engagement to include those. So, yeah.
So how about we review the list of the ones that go through Gavin? Is that all right? We could confirm with you that final list as an outcome of this meeting.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the fact we've had these sort of the primary table and then additional feedback, there's a little bit of confusion. So if we end up with a final list that's going for consultation, we're consulting on these roads. This is our proposal, and including ones where we're not proposing changes in some cases, and then we consult on them.
Yep, sounds good.
Just wondering for the roads that we are not we're just asking people's feedback. It's quite unlikely they can, if we, for example, if we do agree to increase the speed limit to 50k, we probably still need to put it in the next speed limit plan, actually, because the roads has lots of other requirements, because like, for example, the cost benefits statement will need to be presented for every change.
Can we put two items on the same road and then consult on both? Like
an option A.
Yeah.
We can,
No,
So anyone put in all the information?
No, you need to be clear around what the proposal
Yeah.
is.
What the
recommendations on that.
That's
Yeah, so it
that's
can't
the
be an
tricky
either or.
part, because
Has to
people
be
are
this is the
coming,
option.
they
Yeah.
can't increase
To
the
get more direct.
I
Okay,
doubt that.
so we'll work out the
we
technicalities.
we will think about the options.
Yeah.
And
Can I just check a couple of other things? So just to bring it into the Arrowtown ward, the Malligans Road one, it says proposed 80, so that's reducing the hundreds down to 80s. Where's the 70k section that's remaining? Where is that?
That's from the Coronet Peak intersection.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
to,
got it, yeah.
yeah.
Good.
Dalefield Road turn off, does that stay?
Not that
70?
long, actually, just that bend. It's probably 1 kilometer, maybe around 1
Yeah,
kilometer
it's just
long.
past 11 to
There's
farm.
a stretch of temporary 80 in the middle there, but
No, there isn't.
That's the further end.
The other one was the Arrowtown Lake Hayes Road. It says retain the current 70 km/h speed limit. I thought the issue we had there was that there was a section of that road that was currently 80. Has that been changed
No, it's
already?
70 along the whole road.
Yeah, I think at a previous workshop we talked about somewhere around that Speargrass Flat Road, Hogan's Gully Road intersection, there was an 80 anomaly in there.
80 from Malligans down McIntyre Hill, does it change to 70 somewhere?
I guess
So
then,
McIntyre?
if it's all 70 now, then
Well,
it sounds fine.
Yeah, along Arrowtown Lake Hayes is all 70k.
70.
Yeah. The off the road is kind of all 80s,
Yeah.
but not Malligan's Road. Yeah.
Okay. So you happy with all of that? It's all right. Cakes next time.
great topic.
Good. Anything else? Or are we all pretty much done there? Got enough direction to?
So I suppose the final
sorry.
thing to cover was, where we're heading next.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so because we've been told that we are not going to the October council meeting for a approval, so we are pushing the timeline to probably November, December now for the new elected members to make the decision on the school changes and also the consultation for the speed limit plan.
And depending on the quantum of change would determine how much, whether we need to do another infrastructure, another council workshop to talk through the new council proposed change.
Becky, I appreciate that. I think at the last workshop we had on this, I did say that bringing it to the last council meeting of the triennium was probably a little bit challenging, but yeah, so that's a good move, I think.
Cool, great.
Can I just leave one final topic for you to think about? I don't want an answer, and it comes back to the school zones. With the potential changes in January next year, or February next year, of school bus services altering and children going onto public buses, is there any avenue that school zones can be extended to include public bus stops? Because obviously the kids won't be getting dropped off at the school gate anymore by a bus. And we'll have children, as young as 5, wandering through town here, for this example.
Yeah, currently we are.
I don't need an answer now, it's something to think about.
Yeah, we are definitely working on that and aware of the bus change.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Great.